Tax the fish, tax the fish, tax the fish. These are the interesting times. Hello everyone, my name's Matt Johnson and welcome, you are very welcome to the Interesting Times, a political comedy show from the UK. Now, even though the show and I are from the UK, we will be starting across the Atlantic to the US, who are throwing out tariffs around the world like it's an audience at Oprah. You get tariffs and you get tariffs and you get tariffs. So, all you lefty types are probably sat there thinking, oh great, what did those MAGA morons do? Just like Wikipedia all the countries on the planet? Minus Russia, of course. And just say 10% on the ones Donny doesn't recognise? Well, no, actually. Although that would go some way to explaining the 10% tariff levied against McDonald's and Heard Islands, located in the Indian Ocean, which has no humans at all, just penguins. No, what they did, they actually got ChatGPT to come up with a calculation and use that. From artificial intelligence to real stupidity. All right, I appreciate this looks like the deranged lunacy of a simple-minded narcissist, but there is a plan. Just not the plan that the Trumpster anticipated, as people all over the world are imagining a US-free future. Japan, China and South Korea, for so long at loggerheads about things like territorial disputes, held their first economic meeting in 5 years and agreed to strengthen supply chain cooperation and engage in more dialogue on export controls. You could say they had a yen for it. Let's move on. China has actually slapped 34% reciprocal tariffs on the US. So get ready, Americans, for being able to afford only 7,000 pairs of socks from Temu. The EU has also let it be known they aren't taking this lying down.
I know that many of you feel let down by our oldest ally. Yes, we must brace for the impact that this will inevitably have. Europe has everything it needs to make it through the storm. We are in this together. If you take on one of us, you take on all of us.
The UK's response, though, keep calm and, well, just keep calm, really.
We are engaged in discussions with the United States to strike an economic agreement and an economic deal.
That I get from British business, particularly over the last few days and weeks, is they support our approach to remain engaged, to remain calm. The message from British business to me is remain engaged.
Remain engaged, which is exactly what Trump's phone is every time Starmer tries to call. Come on, America, let's talk. Let's have a discussion. All right? When's good for you? We're free next Monday? Okay. How about Tuesday? Tuesday work? No, Wednesday? Thursday? I mean, any time, really. How about Friday? Any Friday. Pick a Friday. Come on. The sooner the better. Come on, America. We got no money. If we don't get something soon, we're going to have to sell Ken to the French. Things are tough then.
I think the Europeans are focusing on things like rye or bourbon whiskey and jeans and Harley Davidsons, things like that.
Andrew, that doesn't add up to a row of beans, quite frankly. I mean, you know, the 25% tariff on cars from Europe is going to hit Europe and England badly. Harley Davidson bikes from America, I mean, it doesn't touch the sides, really. My instinct would be, yes, get in touch with a tit for tat, but I'm a realistic person. What are we tatting? What do we pull from them?
Look, just because our tat is smaller than their tit doesn't mean we should just roll over. I mean, yes, slapping tariffs on Harleys and bourbon is really only going to hit the divorced dads trying to find themselves market. But I say we hit America where it hurts. Slap tariffs on McDonald's, KFC, and of course Burger King. And then also sue Burger King for copyright infringement. And of course you get none of our whimsical films or TV stories without paying for it. Get ready for Downtown Up Tariff Abbey and Harry Potter and the 25% to find out. All right, jokes aside, there is somewhere where we can definitely hit America. It's taxing the likes of Meta, Google, Twitter, Amazon. Tax the crap out of them. Don't let's hit ordinary Americans, though. Let's hit those rich villains. You know the type. With a secret lair on an island. And Amazon, that's your first James Bond story right there. You could even get a role for you know who. The whole tariffs numbers Trump is coming up with is nonsense. What's happened is that Trump's administration has seen that a lot of countries around the world sell them more stuff to America than buy from America. But that is simply a trade deficit. Look, America, it's very straightforward. We don't buy American stuff because we have European stuff. I mean, right here in Europe. The American stuff is usually more expensive and, frankly, not as good. But hey, if you, America, do want us to buy your stuff, it's simple. Well, slightly more complicated than that. All you have to do is make stuff we want, which means having more flair than the French, more precision than the Swiss, more style than the Italians, more technical than the Germans, and more passion than the Spanish. And you know what? I absolutely believe you can do it in America. Definitely 100%. Oh yeah, and more sarcasm than the British. Okay, apologies. I have a few American subscribers who will be jumping up and down watching this at the moment saying, we didn't vote for this twat. We're suffering just as much, if not more, than anyone else. Which is absolutely fair. People in the US have had enough of Mar-a-Lago Mussolini, and yesterday there were protests against Trump all around the country. And looking at the bottom there, also in the sea. Wow, no, wait, I'm just being told that's the penguins from Heard and McDonald Islands who come to protest the 10% tariffs. There are also protests from politicians, including this Democrat who, true story, spoke as a form of protest against Trump's policies for a straight 25 hours. He lasted longer than Liz Truss. And the similarities between Liz and Trump are just frightening. So let's remind ourselves of this nugget of wisdom from the Chicken McNugget.
I think Trump being in the White House will have a very positive impact on our country as well. And hopefully on conservatism in our country and, injecting a bit more of a conservative spirit here as well.
It is a better idea to inject spirit. That way it goes straight into the bloodstream. One big difference with Liz, though, Trump doesn't have a vegetable. I mean, Liz famously went 1-to-1 with a lettuce and lost. So what vegetable are we going to use for Donald? An orange? No, that's the fruit. I'm thinking a pumpkin would work best. An oversized, useless orange vegetable which will only decay into mush over the next few years. Donald Trump is 76. Oh no, sorry, that's his IQ. He's 78. All right, moving on. We are now less than a month away from local elections. Get ready, people, for our very own Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. First up, it was Labour launching their campaign from Derbyshire, and a very patriotic affair with Rachel Reeves' sister from another minister, Eddie Reeves, chair of the Labour Party in bold blue. Then there was Deputy Leader Angela Rayner in racy red, and bringing the so white, Sir Keir Starmer. Now, I just want to show you something, a quick lesson, if you will, in attention to detail. This is Angela Rayner name-checking her colleagues.
Our fantastic mayoral candidates will be at the heart of this. Margaret Pinder in Hull and East Yorkshire, Anna Smith for Cambridgeshire and Peterborough, Jason Stockwood for Greater Lincolnshire, Helen Godwin for the West of England, and Ross Jones, who has worked so hard for Doncaster for the last 12 years.
And this is Richard Tice from a few weeks ago.
Who are your defectors today and where are they from?
So we've got I've got John and Ross.
My choice of question
And John and Ross.
to you is what are
And
their
the
full
John and
names
Ross.
and what council are they from?
John and Ross.
As the saying goes, that's the difference between knowing your shit and a shit. So it was time for Starmer to address the party faithful. Now, did you know during his student days, Keir Starmer used to be in a band? Tory Boy and the Sellouts, I think they were called. Anyway, he clearly took inspiration from that as he was prepared to play all the hits.
Hardly seems possible, but if you can believe it, this coming weekend, is 9 months since the general election. 9 months since the entire nation voted overwhelmingly for change. And mark my words, with our plan for change, that's the change that Labour makes. Change. The general election was that opportunity to vote for change.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a one-word wonder. However, I am kind of liking his newer, less commercial stuff. Just seems more honest.
I'm talking about reform as well. They claim to be the party of patriotism. I'll tell you this, there's nothing patriotic about fawning over Putin.
Ooh, Nigel won't like that. So I like that. Let's hear from Farage now.
What is really interesting...
Whoa, stop. OK, just to let you know, we are going to fact check this as we go. Can we bring the Liger counter up, please? Thank you. Proceed.
...is the Prime Minister isn't really even bothering to talk about the Conservative Party.
Yes, he did. Run the clip.
But the difference between us the last 9 months and 14 years of a Tory government, the difference, it's night and day. They spent £700 million of taxpayer money to deport 4 volunteers. They crashed the economy and sent interest rates through the roof. They said the minimum wage. What did they say? They said it was a burden. They let the NHS waiting lists hit record highs in local communities. Tired Tory councils are still putting on the blockers.
He says we want to charge people to use the NHS. No, we don't. We want a better, cheaper funding model.
And run the clip.
I think we're going to have to think about healthcare very, very differently. And I think we're going to have to move to an insurance-based system of healthcare.
He accuses us of falling over Putin. No, we think what Putin's done in Ukraine is absolutely wrong.
Run the clip.
I was asked a couple of months ago, which world leader did I admire? And I said Vladimir Putin as an operator.
You did actually say you admired him.
As an operator,
the
not as a
question
human
was,
being.
which current world leader do you most admire? As an operator, I would say Putin.
Yes.
What is it about the murderous dictator as an operator that you admire?
How many years has he been in power? You know, he's gone from Prime Minister to President. He's a clever political operator.
No, Labour are lying through their teeth because they can't defend the fact that an extra 7.2 million foreign-born people are now on GP lists.
Unlike reform councillors, who I've no doubt are on registers. OK, this one is tricky. He just says an extra 7.2 million foreign-born people are on GP lists. I can't find where he gets that specific number from. There have been 7 million new registrations at GPs in the last decade. Here's the problem with that number, though. Some people may have signed up with a GP practice and moved and then signed up again, and sometimes that's counted twice. And if you leave the country for more than 3 months, which clearly migrants are going to do more than British-born people, then register with the new GP when you get back, that will also be counted twice. So, while these figures are in dispute, what isn't is that migrants tend to use the NHS about half as much as the Brits do, because they tend to be young and healthy, and in some cases just unclear as to how to access some of these services. So, Mr. F, I think we're going to pronounce that lying twat.
We will stick to the facts. We will not lie.
Crap. Anyway, that is 5 lies in a 90-second clip. I can't be the only one expecting that to be higher. The latest polling for the 1st of May shows just how tight this is going to be. It's a 3-horse race. Well, 2 asses and a donkey. And it's unclear who they're going to say yes and who they're going to say nay to. Maybe we should check the latest Gallup poll. I mean, it would be nice if any one of them could tell the hoof for once. So come the elections, they don't make a fool of us. OK, just one more. Keir Starmer walks into a pub and Obama says, "Hey, why the long face?" And Starmer says, "Because I've blown an 18-point lead I had less than 9 months ago by pandering to right-wing populism and ejecting every political ideal this party I now lead used to stand for." Hello? Listening on? Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have enjoyed these videos, then feel free to like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you all soon. Take care.